Alright, so the X-Men movies, let's take a quick recap of all of them. X-Men 1, really good movie, if not a little flawed and modest for its time. It would get a lot better after that, I'd give it a B. X-Men 2, improves on every aspect of the first movie, B+. X-Men The Last Stand, a lot of pointless cameos of X-Men getting brought in just to get killed off, and Brett Ratner can't direct a movie. A C-. X-Men Origins Wolverine, F. Okay, everything about that movie is bad. The writing, the special effects. Deadpool, what they did to Deadpool, come on. X-Men First Class, I already reviewed it. I believe I gave it an A. It's such a great bring the series back to where it should be and improving it by going in the past and getting the origins of some people like Professor X, Magneto, and Mystique. Awesome movie. The Wolverine, already reviewed it. And now X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men Days of Future Past is directed by Bryan and brings in pretty much every character from X-Men that matters. It's a sequel to First Class, it's a sequel to The Last Stand, and The Wolverine, and it takes all those, puts them together, and man, this is a pretty ambitious film. It starts out in the future Wolverine and a couple of the other X-Men that are surviving. There's not very many of them left though, because the Sentinels are pretty much these giant robots that are wiping out X-Men. They're all dying off. They're not going to live very long because these machines are dangerous and advanced and can adapt to pretty much any X-Men. So they send Wolverine back in time, or at least his consciousness, into his younger body, and he's got to round up the X-Men that are back there in 1973, and they gotta go out and try to stop the Sentinels from ever being made so that in the future they don't all get destroyed like it happens. And this movie, my god, this is probably the best X-Men movie ever. I really had to think about it because I like the Wolverine a lot and I love First Class, but this I think actually is the best one. And yeah, it stars everyone. Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, Halle Berry, and Ellen Page, Peter Dinklage. And you'd think with a cast that big that this movie would be a disaster. It's like, oh god, there's too much going on, there's X-Men all over the place, and I honestly thought it might end up like the first two X-Men movies, and especially the third, where they're bringing in characters, and there's a lot of them, so a lot of them you don't really get to know them, or their characters get shafted. Example, Cyclops in the first three X-Men movies. But this movie manages to use all these characters, and they all get used well, especially the core group that are involved back in 1973. They're all really good. Hugh Jackman, as always, as expected, is fantastic as Wolverine. You know, they're never going to get a better Wolverine than him. He's just so good. And what I like about this, it's not all about him just popping the claws out and slicing stuff. He's got a lot more going on, and I appreciated that, and I thought it was really good because of that. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as Professor X and Magneto, they are so great. Same as First Class, even better at this point because they're used to the roles. It is so good to watch them portray these characters because Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, as the future versions of them, are fantastic, but I kind of like watching the younger versions more now. They're just so good. Michael Fassbender, oh, he is perfect as Magneto. And I really enjoyed James McAvoy as young Charles Xavier because he's not Patrick Stewart at all. Like, he is a very different man back then in the 70s, and it's really neat. Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique, oh my god. So good, so good. She's good in the action. And you know what, Jennifer Lawrence is a beautiful woman, but her covered in all that blue. Like, I get when Avatar came out, people were like, oh, Zoe Saldana was so hot, and I didn't get it. But this is like a blue person that I can fall in love with. She is so good looking. Nicholas Hoult as Beast, he's even better in this. Peter Dinklage as the villain, he's really good, if not lacking a little in motivation. You essentially just get, yeah, he's kind of just very fearful of the mutants and what they could do to us, so that's why he wants the Sentinels to destroy him. He's just kind of scared of what the mutants could do to us, so okay, that's good enough for me. I wanted a little more. The story of this is so good too, just the story of them kind of bringing the X-Men together. It's a lot of fun too that Wolverine, because of the humor of him just like knowing where everything's going, and so he's like the smartest guy in the room always, even over Charles Xavier. Is just like, trust me, I'm from the future, I know what's going on. There's a lot of humor that derives out of that, but the story is very serious overall. I mean, the future, that is bleak. You don't get much bleaker. And I mean, the first X-Men started out with the Holocaust. it even wasn't this bleak. Another good character that I didn't mention, Quicksilver. Oh my god, he is so good in this movie. And I really hope they bring him back in Apocalypse. He came out of nowhere because it's like, oh, Quicksilver is in this. This could be fun. But he is like some of the best comic relief of the movie. And he's just so cool. And Bryan Singer's direction, the last time he directed the first 2 X-Men and produced First Class. He's running the whole show, and he does so good in the direction. It's all great. The action, my god, it's intense, and it's cool. There's a particular scene that just left me awestruck, and I didn't see it in the trailer, so I was super surprised. It's something to do with Magneto, and oh, it's awesome. And also, Quicksilver's got a great action scene in the movie. It's a really cool movie. I gotta do a spoiler review to talk about so many things that I want to talk about. The acting's perfect, writing, directing, it's all really, really good. And if you like any of the X-Men movies, this is like the ultimate X-Men movie because it's got all these characters working together, just all these awesome mutants on display doing their awesome powers. It's a lot of fun to watch. It is the perfect X-Men movie to me. I loved it so much I'd give X-Men Days of Future Past an A+. This is the X-Men's version of Avengers, essentially. So comment below, tell me what you thought of X-Men Days of Future Past, and also comment below, tell me what mutant power you'd want to be or which X-Men you'd want to be. Because I mean, there's so many, like, oh, I want to be Wolverine because I can heal from anything and I got the awesome claws. Yeah, or you could be Magneto, control all metal. Come on, who can stop you? Or maybe you wouldn't want to be Mystique, but you'd want Mystique as a girlfriend, because I mean, come on. Just as Blue Jennifer Lawrence, that's good enough for me. She doesn't even have to change into anyone. And Quicksilver, oh, that's awesome. If I were to pick, I think I'd honestly pick Magneto because it's the closest you can get to being a Jedi without actually being a Jedi, so Magneto. But my favorite X-Men, probably Mystique or Wolverine. So yeah, comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later in my X-Men Days of Future Past spoiler review, because I have to do that right now because there's so many things I want to talk about that I can't talk about in this review. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.